Hello everyone, and welcome to adding and subtracting polynomials. So last time we did all of the polynomial vocab, and today we are going to learn how to add and subtract them. Okay, so just a reminder, a polynomial is an expression made from one or more terms that involve constants, variables, and exponents. So remember, a constant is a number. A variable is a letter, which can have a number in front of it, and exponent is the tiny number behind the variable. Okay? Alright, and then just a couple more vocab reminders. Monomial is going to be one term. Binomial, you got it, is going to be two terms. And trinomial, you know it, it's going to be three. Cool. Alrighty. So we have this little blurb here, and it says to add and subtract polynomials, combine like terms. In a polynomial, like terms have the same variables, so the same letters, and are raised to the same power, raised to the same tiny number. Okay? So we're going to start with adding the polynomial expressions, and then we're going to write them in standard form. Okay? So it must have the same letter, the same tiny number. Okay? So let's take a look. I have 5x squared as my first one. Okay? And notice there is a plus sign in between our parentheses. That is very important. Okay? And then in the next parentheses, I have 4x squared and negative 4. Oh, and in the same parentheses I have the 2, but obviously these can't be combined. Okay, so which one has the same letter and same tiny number? Well, this has the same letter and the same tiny number, so we can add those. So all we're going to do is add 5 plus 4, which is going to give us 9. And then we just bring down the letter and the tiny number. Okay? And then we move on to our next term, which is going to be 2. Okay? And then we're going to look and see if there is another like term for that one. And here we have negative 4. So we're going to add 2 plus negative 4, which is going to give us negative 2. And that's our answer. Okay? And luckily, this is in standard form. Why is it in standard form? Because it is simplified as far as possible. We simplify by combining like terms. And it's in order from our largest exponent to our smallest exponent. So this is our answer. I did not mean to cut off that too. Alrighty. So then, example B is a little bit longer, but that's okay. We're just going to take it one step at a time. So, I always start with the very first term we're given, 3x to the 4th. Check inside here, see if there's any. So this has the same letter, but it does not have the same tiny number. Okay, so we're going to continue on. Doesn't have a letter. This has the same letter and the same tiny number. Awesome. And then we're going to continue to look. Same letter, not the same tiny number. And this doesn't even have a letter. So we're going to combine 3x to the 4th minus 2x to the 4th. So it is 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2. Well, that's just going to be 1. So instead of writing 1x to the 4th, I'm just going to write x to the 4th. Okay? And then we're going to move on to our next term, negative 8x squared. So I need an x and I need a tiny 2. This does not have a letter. We already used that one, so we can't use it again. This has an x and a tiny 2, and this does not have a letter. So we can combine these two. So what is negative 8 plus 3 that is going to be negative 5x squared. And then we have our final one in this parentheses. We have a 2. And then we look and we have a negative 5. So we're going to combine those. So what's 2 plus a negative 5? Negative 3. If you are not good at doing the calculations like negative 8 plus 3 in your head, there is no shame in using a calculator. Oh, and this is in standard form because it is simplified as far as possible. That's the whole purpose of this. And we have our largest exponent to our smallest exponent. So we're doing good. Alrighty. So now we're going to go down to C. Always start with this first one. It just makes it a little bit easier. And we have 2x squared. So I need an x and a tiny 2. This has an x but not a tiny 2. This doesn't even have an x. This has an x with a tiny 3, so no. This has an x with a tiny 2. Awesome. And that's just a number. So we're going to combine these bad boys. So 2x squared minus x squared. So 2 plus a negative 1 is just going to leave us with x squared. Cool. And then move on to the next one. We have negative 5x. So I just need an x, no number. We have a 1. We have an x with a tiny 3, but I need to have it to have no number. And then we have a negative 3. So when this happens, when there is no like term that you can draw the line to it and match it with, you just bring it down. Okay? Alright, and then we're going to move on to our next term, which is this 1. And then it needs to just be a number, so that's not going to help us. And then we have this negative 3, so we can combine these guys. So 1 plus a negative 3 is going to give us negative 2. Okay, now you have done everything in the first parentheses, but we still have something left over in the second parentheses. So then you just move on to your second parentheses, and since it has no like term, you just bring it down. And actually I'll do the same motion for the negative 5x since we did that too. Cool. Alright, so now we need to put it in standard form. Okay? Now this time we have simplified it as far as it can go. That was the purpose of doing all this. But if you notice, 2, 1, 0, 3. Well, this is your largest exponent, so it needs to be moved up front. Okay? So we just need to rearrange it while keeping all of the signs. So this is a positive x cubed. So I'm going to rewrite x cubed. And then we have an x squared. Now remember, I said if it doesn't have a sign out in front, it's positive. So plus x squared. And then our next one is minus 5x. And finally, minus 2. And that is in standard form, and that's going to be our answer. Okay? Alrighty, y'all are doing good so far. So this is adding. We just combine our like terms. Subtracting is going to be a little bit harder. Okay? So, we're going to look at example A. And notice, in between our parentheses is the subtraction sign. So whenever there is a subtraction sign in between our parentheses, the first thing I like to do is rewrite the first parentheses. So actually, let me use this book color. So I'm going to have 5x squared plus 2. Okay? And then, after this parentheses, okay, after I have copied this down, I don't like negatives. I don't like them at all. So I'm going to change the sign of this negative and everything that happens after it. Okay? So if I change this negative, it becomes a positive. And then, okay, that means I have to change this 4. So positive 4 is going to turn into negative 4x squared. And that negative 4 right here, this is going to turn into a positive 4. This is called distributing the negative. Distributing the negative. Okay? I have taken this negative sign and I've given it to this 4 and I've given it to this 4. Okay? That's what's happened here. You just change the signs of the negative and everything that happens after it. And now you have an addition problem. We're going to do this a lot, so it's okay if you don't understand it this time. We're going to do it through all of these examples, okay? Alrighty. So now we can just go ahead and do what we were doing earlier. I have 5x squared, so I need an x and a tiny 2. This is a 2. Here's an x and a tiny 2, and that's a 4. So I have 5 plus a negative 4 is going to give me x squared. Oops, sorry, forgot to connect them for you guys. And then I have a 2, and I have a 4. So 2 plus 4 will give me 6. This is as simplified as it can be, and I have x squared and 6, so it's in standard form. Because remember, standard form is your largest tiny number to your smallest tiny number. Okay, you guys ready for this? We're going to do it again. Alrighty, so for B, okay, I always copy down the first parentheses. So we have 6x cubed minus 5x plus 9. Remember, do not change the first parentheses. And now we're going to distribute the negative, which means change all of the signs. So I'm going to change this negative to a positive. I'm going to change this negative to a positive, which means I'm just going to get rid of the negative. This positive turns into a negative, and this negative turns into a, you got it, turns into a positive. Okay, so just to show you guys what I did again, I took this negative and I distributed it here to make it, because negative negative makes a positive, negative positive makes a negative, and negative negative makes a positive. Okay? Alrighty. So now we can combine our like terms again. So I have 6x cubed, 6x to the 3. So I need an x and a 3. Nope. nope. Hey, here's one. Nope and nope. So then I have 6 plus 2. It's going to give me 8x cubed. Probably should have moved it down a little bit, but it's okay. And then I have negative 5x. So I just need a single x. Nope. Already used that. Ooh, here's one. And an 8. So then negative 5 minus 7. Oh, so we're adding, so we're going to have negative and then 5, or 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's right, I just counted with my fingers. Even teachers do it sometimes, there's no shame. Okay. And then take a look at your 9. And then take a look, an 8. 9 plus 8 will give you 17. Make sure you are in standard form. It's simplified 3, 1, 0. So we are in standard form. We're doing good, guys. Cool. All right, you guys ready to do it again? All right, let's go. First step, bring down your first parentheses, just rewrite it. So 3x to the 4th plus 2x minus 5. Okay? And then we're just going to change all of the signs. So this negative becomes a positive. Parentheses. Remember, if there's not a sign in front, assume it's positive. So that makes it a negative. This negative turns into a positive. This positive turns into a negative. Okay, just going to show you guys again how we did that to distribute the negative. Negative positive makes a negative. Negative negative makes a positive. Negative positive makes a negative. Okay? Alrighty. So now we can just combine our like terms again. I have 3x to the 4th. So I need an x and a 4. This has an x. Nope. X. Oh, but that's a 2. X. Nope. So we just get to bring this one down. So 3x to the 4th. And then next one, 2x. So I just need a singular x. Nope. Here's an x, but that has a 2 attached, so we can't use that one. And this one has an x, and hey, there we go. And that's just a 2. So we can combine these two. So we have 2 plus 3 will give us 5. Don't forget to bring down whatever letter is attached. And then I have a negative 5. So no letter, just a number. That has a letter. Hey, here's just a number. So negative 5 plus a negative 2 will be negative 7. Okay, so that first parenthesis is done, but don't forget to check. Make sure you used everything in your second parentheses, because I have a leftover negative 2x squared. And since there's nothing that combines with it, you just bring it down. Okay, so now we need to make sure that we are in standard form, and we're not, because we have 3, 1, 0, 2. So we need to rewrite this in standard form. So 4, sorry, I think I said 3 earlier, but it's 4. I'm sorry, this is 4. So we have 3x to the 4th, and then we need to figure out what comes next. So we have 1, 0, and 2. So this 2 is going to be next. The negative 2x squared because of the tiny 2. And then we're left with 1 and 0. 1, and 0. So next is going to be 1. And then finally, 0. And now we are in standard form. Okay? Alrighty, you guys ready to do the next one? Let's do it. Remember, when it is subtraction, you copy down the first parentheses. And then you change the signs of everything that happens next. Negative becomes a positive. Positive becomes a negative. Positive becomes a negative. Positive becomes a negative. And just one more time, I'm going to show you guys how I did it. So negative times a positive makes a negative. Negative positive makes a negative. Negative positive makes a negative. Okay? Alright, cool. So now we can combine our like terms. So I have an x cubed right here. So I need an x and a 3. x2, x, ooh, x3, awesome. x2, and nothing. So I'm going to combine these. So I have an x cubed minus an x cubed. So that's going to be 0. So we are just not going to write that down. They're done for. Okay? Later on, when we see things like this, we can just cross them out. Okay? But we won't do that today, just to make sure that everybody sees everything. Okay, and then we have 2x squared, so I need an x and a tiny 2. X, x, tiny 2, here we go, and nothing. So I can combine these, and then 2x squared plus a negative 2x squared. Oh my gosh, well that's 0 as well. So we're not going to write that down either. And then next, we have a negative x. So I need an x, and it's not here, so we're just going to write it down. And then we're done with everything in the first parentheses, so move on to the second. And we have a negative 6, so we're just going to move it down. Make sure it's in standard form. We have 1, 0. So we are good to go. Excellent. Alrighty, you guys are doing really well so far because subtracting polynomials is not easy. Okay? It'll get easier the more that we do it, but right now it is difficult and you guys are doing great. Okay? So now take a breath, take a minute. If you need to pause the video, take a break, get some water, do what you need to do. And when you're ready, we are going to find perimeter. So now we are ready to find perimeter. Okay? So the dimensions of the rectangle are shown, and we need to find the perimeter. So let's talk about a rectangle really quick. If this is my rectangle, okay, what do I know about this side and this side? Here, this side and this side. They're going to be equal, right? So if this side is 5x plus 2, what do you think this length is going to be? It is also going to be 5x plus 2. Okay? And then, what do we know about this pink side and this pink side? Oh, I don't think you can actually see that. There we go. That's better. Well, these are also going to be equal. So if this is 3x plus 8, then that means that this must also be 3x plus 8. You guys okay with that? Okay, cool. So now we need to remember what perimeter means. Okay? Perimeter is another way to say add up all the sides. Okay? There is a fancy formula that you can use where P is equal to 2 times your length plus 2 times your width. Oh, I don't think you can see that all the way. There you go. But you really don't need to know this right now. Just add up all of your sides. Okay? The 2 times your length is because you have 2 of these, and it's 2 times that. And then because you have 2 of these, it's 2 times that. Okay? That's where that comes from. But just add up all of your sides. Okay? So, just pick a side and start with that. Okay? So I'm going to start with the blue. So I have 5x plus 2 plus 5x plus 2. Okay? So then, combine your like terms. Right? Because x, and you get 10x. And then combine again, and you get plus 4. Okay? So we've added up 2 sides. Let's add up our other sides. Okay? So then plus 3x plus 8. Whoops. Plus 3x plus 8. Sorry guys, there is a plus in between here, I promise. Okay, so then we have 3x plus 3x to give us 6x. And then we have 8 plus 8 to give us 16. Okay? So now, because we need to add up all of our sides, our last step is going to be to combine these two. So you can put parentheses around them if that helps you, and combine. So we have 10x and 6x to give us 16x. And then we have 4 plus 16 to give us 20. Okay? Y'all are doing really well so far. Alrighty. So now let's take a look at B, and this is our last problem, so bear with me. So again, for rectangles, if this side is negative 2x plus 5, then this side must also be negative 2x plus 5. And if this side is 5x minus 1, then this side must be 5x minus 1. Okay? So then, let's get started. Okay? So we did top and bottom first last time, so we'll do that again. So we have 5x minus 1 plus 5x minus 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and write down the other two like I did before. And then plus negative 2x plus 5 plus negative 2x plus 5. Okay, you can't see that all the way. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Now, if you just want to stick with the orange first and then do the green, that is perfectly fine, and that's what I'm going to do. But if you are really good at this, you can combine all of your like terms in the same go. Okay? But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it step by step for everybody. And for those of you who want to try that, you would combine this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then combine this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, but again, not going to do that. So just focusing on the orange, we have 5x, so I need an x, and here it is. So 5x plus 5x will give us 10x. And then we have negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1 plus negative 1 will give us negative 2. Cool. And And then, whoops. And then you can go ahead and put this in a parentheses, just like we did earlier. And then I'm going to bring down this plus sign for us. And then we have negative 2x. So I need an x. It's right here. Negative 2x minus 2x will be negative 4x. And then we have a 5 and a 5. 5 plus 5 will give us 10. And you can also put this in a parentheses. Now, when you're adding, you really don't need parentheses, but it can help you organize your thoughts better. Okay? All right, and then finally, we need to combine these two. So I have 10x minus 4x, which will give us 6x. And then we have, sorry, I'm trying to find a color that we have not used. Here we go. And then we have negative 2 and 10. Negative 2 plus 10 will give us positive 8. And that's our answer. Good job, guys. You have just completed adding and subtracting polynomials. Good job.